every time we meet, we end up talking about health.
Right.
When did you become interested in health and start, kind of exploring it, experimenting with this, and
No, I've played sports through my life.
Okay.
And I've always found it a way, like a de-stressing thing. I used to play a lot of basketball when I was younger. I hurt my knees. I started cycling. And I started cycling, and I found swimming very exciting because it was, I think, the lowest impact on your body kind of sport. So then, this whole triathlon as an idea came through. So through my life, I think where I've struggled really hard is with my diet.
Right.
I love my chocolates, I love my alcohols, I love my, like food itself. And just to do everything in moderation has been, challenging.
You send me the sample of guilt-free chocolate and snacks. The guilt-free alcohol also in the works.
I mean, this is something I ask, like, everyone who's really hit off in life, right? Every time I meet the person, I'm like, like science has progressed so much. We're sending people to Mars. Why is wine making or, why is, making of whiskey the same way it was 300 years before, right? As in, why is that not progress? As in, isn't there a way, I don't know, to distill alcohol in a way it is good for you? And, but just jokes apart, I think science works a certain way. So I don't think you can.
I'm sure a lot of scientists will also love to find a guilt-free way of consuming alcohol. Even have decaf coffee now. I mean, it's been there, in fact, for the longest period.
Yeah, I think with chocolate, it's straightforward. Right? And because, I think what happens with, with desserts itself, finding a healthier version is easier because the traditional ones are just loaded in sugar.
Yeah.
So if you could just take away the sugar, you just make it healthier, right? As in, so at least that is a very low-hanging fruit. I think a lot more people should, solve for. So sorry, coming back to your question. So yeah, I've always cared about playing a sport, and I always know that my health determines the outcome of the sport. Right? I said you can't be like unhealthy, and you can't be smoking and say go play basketball. It doesn't work. You're gonna gas out in no time. So I've never smoked in my life, and also I've always realized that to play a sport you need to be strong. To be strong, you need to be lifting some weights, right? Or pull or push or whatever. So I've constantly done some physical activity to keep myself strong. I think what I really started caring about my personal health was COVID, right? And I think the first 2-3 months of COVID, Nikhil and I, we were stuck in the house, and we binged. I mean, in all ways. I think I added like 7-8 kilos, and I added very quickly, and I could feel the impact that had on my body. And also I think this was around the same time, and Andrew Women and all of these guys were getting popular. So we started listening to a lot of this content around health, what it can do to you, what alcohol can do to your body, and how dangerous it is to binge drink, right? I mean, because more dangerous than having small little drink daily is to actually binge drink, right? As in, so all of these things, started caring. I think I really love some of these concepts of what Peter Attia talks about, right? Which is, I think the right way to think about health is to think like, how do you want to live your last 10 years of your life? Right? If life is like a marathon, you want to finish it strong.
Right.
And, that concept itself has just stayed in my head now. In the last 3-4 years, I've just become, I'm like, by the time I'm 65, 70, I don't want to be on the bed. I want to be physically really active and one day get up and say, if I have to die, I die, right? I mean, in this journey, you can never really control, right? I mean, we could have a medical accident anywhere. Also, I think in our, in my immediate family, my wife got cancer, and kind of, I also realized how her bounce back from her cancer episode was so fast because she was so healthy. All her life choices before that was really what helped her to, get through this. Otherwise, an episode which slows down people, right? She's just been brilliant, and like after, she had a mastectomy, and after the surgery, I think in a week she was on a treadmill.
Wow.
Like she had this bag where, after surgery, had this blood collected. Not even a week, I think 3 days. She was on a treadmill walking with it. And it's just, and I was like, I don't know if tomorrow I'll have some accident.
Right.
And if it happens, if I'm strong, I think I'll be able to bounce back harder. So I started caring significantly about what I eat, trying to do it in moderation. I can do it 95% of the times. But I keep slipping up, like yesterday, like yesterday night, I went to a Japanese restaurant and I slipped up. And but I think it's we're humans, we're imperfect. I think it's
most people will argue Japanese food is still, fairly healthy overall. First of all, I'm really glad, your wife, bounced back from this episode, and it's like, health, just dedication to healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, and it doesn't take too much effort, as in, I think everyone's got half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, and it's just making some small choices. It's just those small little choices, like just to be able to eat at home, for example, majority of the times, just improves the health outcome so significantly, right? And like for me, what I realized is if I get up in the morning and I get a workout done first thing, all my choices during the day are much better, right? Versus working out in the evening, right? Because a lot of if I keep my workouts in the evening, I've seen that I'll postpone because mentally you're fatigued by the end of the day, and it's very easy to say, you know what, let me do it tomorrow. So I usually always get up in the morning and do something.
Do you have heard this advice of not working on the evening with Nikhil yet?
I mean, Nikhil is exactly the opposite. He goes at 10 p.m. in the night to the gym. No, but like I said, I think you need to do what works for you.
Yeah.
Right. And but Nikhil has done, I think, one very smart choice, which is intermittent fast.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So he's avoiding eating like 1 or 2 meals. I can't do that. And if I'm not eating every 4 or 5 hours,
let's say not yet. Given your commitment and interest in health, probably a matter of time before you give it a serious.
No. I mean, I've given it a shot, but I haven't enjoyed it. I am, I've realized that when I'm eating, I end up binging. I overcompensate. And also, I think it's about like if you're a person like that, you don't want insulin spikes in your body, right? I mean, you want it. So I rather keep my insulin constant by eating more frequently versus just have that one big meal where my insulin spikes significantly, right?
And I think there's a lot of science in that favor as well. As long as you're basically what the people call flattening the sugar curve, right? As long as you maintain average is below 110 or something throughout 24 hours, then it doesn't matter.
Correct.
How frequently you are eating.
Yeah, and eventually, right? Like everything in life, I don't think any copy paste.
That's exactly. Yeah.
Like I think we need to find where we are most optimal. And that itself is self-discovery, right? As in our life.
That, makes health both so fascinating as well as so complicated, because it is true. All of our bodies are so unique and different life situations and different places where we grew up in, different habits that we acquired a period of time. So it truly is one of those things which has to be very personalized, which makes it very difficult to create a mass product.
And then the problem is, for everything, there is a counter argument. I mean, like if I said I get up in the morning, have coffee, if I actually go on the rabbit hole, someone will say, dude, it's not right for you. Yeah. If I say stevia monk sugar, I'm sure there's a big audience which will say, it's not right for you. But if I can have a piece of chocolate with stevia in it that avoids me, like doesn't give me sugar cravings.
Yeah.
I mean,
why not?
Why not? I mean, like, it's just, I think life's full of trade-offs, right? I mean, you just have to.
So one thing I'm really glad, one is, you've obviously been taking your health, reasonably, seriously, been active all your life, and nothing you now publicly also talk about it. I think for, any entrepreneur listening to this podcast, I think they're recognizing somewhere, health is also a huge enabler. You talked about better decision making throughout the day. This, that, 45-minute or 1 hour investment, in my opinion, absolute must, especially, people who want to do this for long term, and we'll talk maybe later, then nothing really happens, without long-term mindset. So this is an absolute no-brainer investment. I think that everybody, definitely all entrepreneurs should consider it.
It's just not entrepreneurs. I think every single human being. I mean, there is no excuse in today's world not to give like an hour a day for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have to take care of yourself. I think medical progress means that we'll all live for much longer.
Yeah.
Right? As in, now, what is the quality of life you want to have if you're leading much longer?
Right.
And I think your health choices, life choices today will really determine that, right, in the future. And I think you need to think about, like I said, it's all about long-term mindset.
Right.
If your health goals are more vanity goals, like I've had those health goals, right, in periods of time where I'm like, I need to look ripped, I need to look. My choices are very different, and they're not even healthy, to be very honest.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I carry a lot of injuries. All of them are from those stupid, vanity goals. You keep pushing yourself, and who cares, if you have half an inch extra bicep. I know you care a lot about your bicep.
No, I mean, I want to be strong. Like that's I care about that. Like this. I don't know if it's even if I should be even caring about it. But somehow, like one of the things I've been wanting to do is to be strong, because the kind of sports I play, it requires me to be strong to be able to, if I want to be playing basketball at 60 years, I need to be a certain strength size, So, and you can't be strong without muscles, in the sense that it's really hard to be strong. And I think Indian genes generally, you find it hard to put on muscle.
Right.
If I diet too much, I'll become like a stick in no time. If I do more cardio, I'll become like a stick. I have seen some of my friends in the US, like Americans. I mean, they'll have bulging bicep by jogging, right? I mean, it's just genetically they're very, they're very different. So
I don't know if genes are determined for you or not, but looking at your muscles, I think either you put in a lot of hard work or they are not.
I put a, I think over the last 1-2 years, I've been putting.
Right.
I've also, one of the things I'm trying to do now is to have some kind of event to prepare to. Next month I'm doing this High Rocks event, and then there's a Goa Ironman, so where I'm doing a swimming bit. December I plan to do another. So the thing is, I'm having these. If you have an event goal, right, then you have like a, you get up and say, I'm training for this. Right? So High Rocks event requires you to have someone. So it's essentially you do 1 kilometer run, and then you have a station. A station is like a rowing of 1,000 meters, a ski erg of 1,000 meters, wall ball 100 counts of the
in a gym or something.
Oh, it's become really popular.
Where is it?
This one I'm doing is in Dubai.
Okay.
But it's happening across Europe, US, Southeast Asia, and in Europe you actually get into a waiting list to be able to enroll to the event.
And so how many such?
It's 8 kilometers of run, so 1 kilometers, and then in between that you have these intense workouts, this burpee broad jumps for I think 100 meters.
Right.
You're doing burpee broad jump for 100 meters.
Burpee broad jump is, so you do one burpee jump and jump forward.
Yeah.
And you again
do burpee. And then you have to do it for 100 meters.
You've done it for 100 meters?
Yeah, I've been training, but I haven't done all the 8 kilometers plus all the, for example, you need to do farmer's carry for 25 kilo each.
Got it.
For 200 meters.
Got it. And you compete for time.
Yeah, and it's for yourself. In the sense you're setting,
just finishing itself is the
so yeah. You set a goal and then you say, what can I maintain these levels, etc. Right. So it kind of,
there's no High Rock event in India.
It's not, but I'm kind of plugging in all the startups that we're investing in.
I am going to copy from you. I'm going to talk to Cult team today itself. We'll make sure we'll give credit where it is due.
But there is, we've invested in a company called Devil's Circuit.
Okay, right.
So he's been doing obstacle courses, but it's not a High Rocks format. But he's trying to build a property. But I think Cult also should. It's a no-brainer. I don't know why.
The more such event we have, the better, right? It brings a whole community feeling and the atmosphere and so.
No, even for example, right, the Bangalore, the marathon that we have,
right,
or the Bombay marathon. There's so many people, who sign up, and as soon as they sign up, they're working towards it. Even in our office, all the people who were working towards the Bangalore Marathon.
Yeah.
For 2-3 months, they were getting up and they had a health, a routine.
Right.
I think if there are those 3-4 events which are really popular, you can influence lifestyle choices of so many people who are going to participate in that.
Right.
And definitely India needs a lot more of that.